Now, the greatest radio shows of all time.
Suspense.
The Shadow Node.
Washington calling David Harding, counter-spy.
Classic radio theater.
The Great Gildersleeve.
Fibber McGee and Molly.
Dragnet. Gunsmoke.
The Lone Ranger.
Now, step back into a time machine with your host, Wyatt Cox.
Good evening, friends of the Inner Sanctum.
Many times summer series were experimental, and this one was no exception, especially since for a short run they were able to bring in a top talent, Peter Lorre, as the host and lead actor of Mystery in the Air, going back 75 years to August 28, 1947, Beyond Good and Evil. We thank you for joining us on this Sunday, 28th day of August, 240th day of 2022, 125 days remaining till we get to 2023. Delaware Bay, discovered by Henry Hudson in 1609. The first radio commercial broadcast aired on station WEAF in New York City in 1922. A 10-minute advertisement for the Queensboro Realty Company cost $100. Now that station became WNBC and then would become the first all-sports station, WFAN. Emmett Till, a black teenager from Chicago, abducted and killed by white men on the state in 1955 after he supposedly whistled at a white woman in Mississippi. Now, the original case resulted in an acquittal, but afterwards the accused murderers admitted their guilt to a Look magazine reporter and not only showed no remorse, they saw nothing wrong with the killing. The case reopened in 2005, but so much time had passed that there was insufficient evidence to bring charges against anyone still alive. It was on this date in 1963, Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. gave his famous I Have a Dream speech at the Lincoln Memorial to civil rights demonstrators. I would play an excerpt from that speech, but Sony Music Entertainment believes they own all the rights to historic speeches, and because of that, and they have gone after us for airing anything from Dr. Martin Luther King specifically, so we will not put that in this show. Blame Sony Music. In 1968, anti-Vietnam War protesters and police clashed in the streets of Chicago while the Democratic National Convention nominated Hubert H. Humphrey for president.
Bad place to be in.
Interestingly enough, the Democrat Party was very much for the continuing the Vietnam War. Republicans, and especially the Richard Nixon, wanted out. And it was a reasonable decision. Eventually got us out of a war that the U.S. would not be permitted to win by the United Nations. Center for Disease Control announced a medical task force had been formed on this date in 1981 to look into the incidence of Kaposi sarcoma and pneumocystis in homosexual men, AIDS later found to be the cause. And it was on this date in 2005, a mandatory evacuation ordered by New Orleans Mayor Ray Nagin and Louisiana Governor Kathleen Blanco as Hurricane Katrina moved nearer to Louisiana.
It's not a meteorologist or an expert that I have talked to that says that this storm will not impact New Orleans in a major way. As a result of that, I am this morning declaring that we will be doing a mandatory evacuation.
Unfortunately, logistically, it was too little too late. Many people ended up staying in New Orleans. Many huddled in what became a very filthy and disgusting Superdome in New Orleans. The evacuation ordered on this date in 2005. Passing away on this date in history, you remember little Buffy from Family Affair? Anissa Jones passed away on this date. Also, actress Ruth Gordon, actor, director, screenwriter John Huston, Dobie Gillis author and screenwriter Max Schulman, Oscar winner for 1957 motion picture Sayonara, and you remember her from The Courtship of Eddie's Father, Miyoshi Umeki, passing away on this date. Pro wrestler and manager Mr. Fuji, and from the Black Panther movie, Chadwick Boseman. He passed away at the age of 43 of colon cancer. Get yourself checked, folks. Comic book artist Jack Kirby, man behind many of the Marvel greats, born on this date in history, as was Miss Hathaway in the Beverly Hillbillies, Nancy Culp. Singer, dancer, actor Donald O'Connor, and actor Ben Gazzara, all born on this date. Hutch in Starsky and Hutch, David Soul, turned 79 today. From Boogie Nights and Carlito's Way, Luis Guzman is 66. Shania Twain, 57 years of age today. And I know that don't impress me much. Billy Boyd from Lord of the Rings is 54. From 90210, the original, Jason Priestley is 53. Actor-musician Jack Black, 53. Leanne Rimes, 40 years old. Florence Welch of Florence and the Machine is 36. And from the 2013 Lone Ranger movie and the 2015 Man from U.N.C.L.E. movie, Armie Hammer, 36. Those just a few of the people who celebrate the 28th day of August as their birthday, and if this happens to be your birthday...
Hi, we're the Four Freshmen, and we just want to say, Happy birthday to you!
From 3/4 of a century ago, August 28, 1947, Peter Lorre, Mystery in the Air, Beyond Good and Evil. Thank you so much for tuning in to Classic Radio Theater with Wyatt Cox. Yes, that's me, right here on this Sunday on your favorite radio station.
You ever make a change and then think, why didn't I do this years ago? Well, that's how people feel about switching to Medishare for their health care, especially now with inflation the way it is. People are very happy with the savings. Most families save about $500 a month when they switch. It's a huge help when prices are going up so fast in so many other areas. And Medishare's customer satisfaction rate is double that of health insurance. It's just a different experience, and people really like that. Medishare is an alternative to health insurance. It's a community of Christians who share each other's healthcare bills, and it's been going strong for over 25 years. It really is the gold standard, the most trusted name in healthcare sharing. Find out why people love it. Find out why they rave about the customer service, and find out how good it feels to save some money right now. They're super easy to talk to. Here's the number, 833-34-BIBLE. That's 833-34-BIBLE, 833-34-BIBLE.
There were two runs of Mystery in the Air in the summertime, a 1945 series, which no episodes remain available, and the 1947 series, of which we have 8 episodes starring Peter Lorre. It's our understanding that Mr. Lorre picked the episodes, but I can't find any independent confirmation of that, but it's been mentioned a time or two. And the stories of the strange and unusual culled from the 4 quarters of world literature. This episode, August 28, 1947, Beyond Good and Evil.
Mystery in the Air, starring Peter Lorre.
This, dear friends, was the man Philip Gentry, or Reverend Pierce, or whatever other name he may choose in eternity, the man whom we bury today. That night when he stood above my bed, pouring defiance and bitterness into my ears, thinking that I was paralyzed, I could both speak and write. My paralysis had been gone for many days. But I did not speak, because I knew what Philip Gentry would do, what he had to do, criminal and murderer though he was.
Each week at this hour, Peter Lorre brings us the excitement of the great stories of the strange and unusual, of dark and compelling masterpieces culled from the four corners of world literature.
Tonight, Beyond Good and Evil, starring Peter Lorre.
Why, Reverend Pierce.
Hello.
Good evening.
Good evening, Lucy. Is Reverend McKillop still awake?
Oh, yes. We don't put him to bed until 8 or later. Is evening service over already?
Is it over? Shame on you, Lucy, a parson's daughter, and you forget there is no service on Wednesdays.
Of course. You've come to read to Father.
Well, there's so little I can do. If he were able to let us know in some way.
I can tell by his eyes. Whenever you're here, they fairly glow.
Oh, I suppose that helpless as he is, not able to speak or even to write, my visits are at least a diversion.
You're much more than a diversion. You're his hope.
No, Lucy. The Lord is his hope.
Oh, yes.
The Lord struck him down with paralysis, and in time the Lord will surely free him from it. Well, I'll go in and try to cheer him up. Good evening, Reverend McKillop. Good evening, good evening, good evening. Yes, McKillop, you hang on my every word, and you never talk back. You never have, except once, and after tonight you won't get the chance. Huh? Speak up, Reverend, why don't you? No, of course, the cat's got your tongue, huh? Yes, tonight is your last chance, Reverend. Tonight is the consummation, finish, the end, Act 3 curtain on a great play about death and redemption, about good and evil. And I won't shrink from your eyes, McKillop, see? Your eyes can't kill, but I can kill. I have the mind and the will and the hands. I've killed one man, that you know. And tonight I am going to kill again. Yes, Reverend McKillop, you know who I was before I became the Reverend Howard Pierce, pastor of this good and godly community. And you know my real name, it's Philip Gentry, but you never knew the soul of Philip Gentry, the contempt, the sum of evil that was in me that night it all began. Yes, it's now 3 months ago. What a stormy night. I was crouching in a swamp with a man named Mac because we had just escaped from prison, hiding like animals in the deep mud and ooze, alien from the whole entire human race.
Gentry, where are you going?
To the highway, you idiot. Got to make time before daylight. Before the rain stops. They'll bring out the bloodhounds in the morning.
Yeah, okay, you're the boss.
There's the highway now, there, beyond the fence.
Well, so what do we do now? Where do we go?
Split up. I'll meet you in Chicago later.
At Gus's place?
Yes, at Gus's place in 2 or 3 weeks, when the manhunt cools off.
You won't let me down, will you, Gentry?
I said I'll meet you. Now get moving. Go on, faster. I walked a mile, and then I saw a car. It was parked close to the edge of the road. Its headlights almost blacked out by the rain. And then, by the glow of what I knew was a flashlight, I saw a man bending into the rain, struggling to change a tire. He was alone, so I walked up to him. Hello. Need help?
Oh, you startled me.
I'm sorry.
I didn't expect to see anyone this late.
Picked a bad night for a flat.
Yes, and it's the second today. I'm going to be awfully late.
Here, come on, let me help.
Oh, no, thank you. But if you would hold the light.
Oh, sure. Come a long way?
Yes, from Detroit. I'm on my way to Carlton. I was supposed to get there this afternoon. I'm the new minister there. My name's Pierce.
Didn't notice you were a preacher.
Yes, I'm taking over for old Reverend McKillop at Grace Church. He's been in bad health, so I'm taking his place. Yes.
Oh, my, this bolt is stubborn. I can't seem to get it to... Come on, let me have the wrench.
No, really. Just hold the light.
I said give me the wrench.
Well, all right. It's awfully good of you.
Come on, give it to me.
No, wait.
I need
wait, what are
your
you doing?
car, Reverend
No,
Pierce.
no,
You're
please.
going to be
Please,
even
no,
later
no,
than you thought.
No. Oh.
Be quiet, you! I hit him twice, and I can't tell you now, Reverend McKillop, what I thought when that wrench bit into flesh and bone. Oh, I swear to you that it was not my intention to kill, and yet I did. I killed, yes. When I put my hand on his chest, the heart had stopped, and the Reverend Howard Pierce was dead. Yes, Reverend Pierce was dead. Very dead, so I buried him. I buried him in my prison clothes, and soon I was dressed in his clothes. Oh, I had on his decent black and turned around collar, and I was rolling this way. And at the city limits of Carlton, my own destiny stepped in. I was stopped by a traffic cop.
Let me see your license, buddy.
A license? Where? Here. Here it is.
Howard Pierce. Occupation. Oh, minister. I didn't notice.
Well, what is it, officer? Was I speeding?
No, we're checking all cars on this road. There was a break at the state pen. 2 prisoners escaped.
Yes.
They might come this way.
I see.
But I won't hold you up any longer, Reverend. You going far?
Oh, no, Carlton.
Well, say, this is Carlton.
It is? Oh, yes, there's the sign.
Say, I get it. Imagine me not catching on right away.
Catching on?
Sure, you must be the new preacher for Grace Church.
Oh, yes, I am.
Well, I'm Charlie Owen. I sing in the Grace Church choir, baritone. You going to the parsonage now?
Yes, I was.
Well, it's a little tricky finding it. I'm going into headquarters now, and I have to go right by Reverend McKillop's house.
Oh, that's
You
nice.
follow me.
Thank you, son. It's very nice of you.
Hello there, Lucy.
Why, hello, Charlie.
Guess who I'm delivering to you? It's Reverend Pierce. He's just getting out of the car. Who are you expecting, Lucy? The boyfriend?
You mean my fiancé, Mr. Tom Hubbard?
When are you two going to get married, anyway? You know, everybody in... Oh, here's Reverend Pierce. Reverend Pierce, here's Lucy, Reverend McKillop's daughter.
How do you do?
Oh, come in, Reverend Pierce. Father and I have been so worried. We expected you all afternoon.
Oh, I had 2 flat tires.
Oh, what a shame. Well, Father's waiting up for you in his study. Father, Charlie Owen brought Reverend Pierce.
Reverend Pierce? Well, come in. You and Mr. Owen wait outside for a few minutes, Lucy.
All right,
Sure,
Father.
sir. Sit over here, Reverend Pierce.
Thank you, sir.
I can't tell you how relieved I am to see you. I really couldn't bring myself to sleep tonight without first talking to you. You see, the situation's serious.
Serious? Why, Reverend?
My health. I'm a sick man. I've had 1 stroke, as I wrote you.
Oh, yeah, I know, yeah.
Well, I could have another one at any time.
Okay.
The doctor says a worse one. And I feel it essential that the work of the parish should be in firm hands. This parish needs a young man.
Why, I hope to be of service, sir.
I've heard only good of you, Reverend Pierce.
Thank you.
And you know you're even younger than you looked.
Really?
In the picture you sent. Darker, too. Your hair.
I'm afraid it wasn't a very good liking.
I have the picture here somewhere on my desk with your letters.
What did you want to talk to me about, Reverend McKillop?
Oh, all the work of the parish. Oh, yes, here's the photograph. It's,
Something wrong, Reverend McKillop?
It's not... Who are you?
Not what?
This isn't your picture. Who are you?
I don't think that should interest you. It's
Something's happened to Reverend Pierce.
McKillop.
What did you do to him?
What do you think I did, Reverend McKillop, huh? Come on, go on, guess. Guess, don't you hear me? Come on, don't you play with me, you sanctimonious fool. You... Come on, speak up. Speak up. What's the matter with you? Oh, don't tell me you had another stroke, huh? That's all right. You can't speak, huh? Is that it? Well, I'll find out. In any case, I'll take that picture, Reverend McKillop, and now if you don't...
Reverend Pierce, we thought...
Yes, Lucy, something has happened to your father. We were talking and...
Is it?
Yes, I'm afraid it's another stroke. He can't speak, and apparently he can't move.
Father. Father. What can we do?
Lucy, we'll have to wait for the doctor, and maybe even then.
I know. The doctor said he could be paralyzed for months, years. But he mustn't die.
No. If we have faith, the Lord will spare him, and until the good Lord returns his health, I'll try to shepherd his flock. Yes, and since that first time, Reverend McKillop, you've never opened your mouth again. Oh, you can stare, yes. Stare as hard as you want. That doesn't bother me, because your stare cannot kill, but I, as you know, I can, and I will, Reverend McKillop.
Moments, Mr. Peter Lorre will bring us the climax of tonight's Mystery in the Air.
August 28th, 1947. Mystery in the Air on Classic Radio Theater with Wyatt Cox. The news from 75 years ago today is next.
Whether you're taking your pets on the road or a walk around the block, you need to be aware of heat stroke. Hi, I am Dr. Jose Arce, immediate past president of the American Veterinary Medical Association. It's important that pets get out and enjoy the warm weather and fresh air, but here are some reminders to help keep your pets safe in the heat. Tune into the day's forecast to see how hot it will be. Limit exercise on hot days or schedule walks earlier or later on the day when it's cooler. If outside, stay on the grass instead of the hot pavement. Make sure your pet has unlimited fresh water and access to shade. Never leave your pet in a closed vehicle, and leave your pet at home in air conditioning when you go out. If you see signs of heat strokes in your pet, such as excessive panting, drooling, unsteadiness, or abnormal gum and tongue color, call your veterinarian or nearest emergency clinic. For more info on summer pet safety, visit avma.org. That's avma.org.
Thank you so much for tuning in to Classic Radio Theater with Wyatt Cox right here on your favorite station. We're listening to an episode of Mystery in the Air starring Peter Lorre, as it was originally broadcast Thursday, August 28, 1947, the summer replacement series for Abbott and Costello, sponsored by Camel Cigarettes. And in the newspapers of that Thursday, 75 years ago, these were some of the headlines. Rollicking Legionnaires filling New York almost to bursting on the eve of their 29th National Convention heard a grim warning yesterday that the greatest menace in the field of international relations facing America is the aggressive spread of communism fostered and promoted by a powerful totalitarian state. The blast against Russia in the form of a formal report of the Legion's Foreign Relations Committee to the National Executive Committee. It termed the Marshall Plan of vital concern to every American and urged that the Legion accept the leadership in supporting the plan in Congress. Secretary of State Marshall's top policy planner sped to Paris yesterday amid signs of official concern that Europe may ask for considerably more American economic aid than it possibly can get. Chief of Marshall's new policy planning board, George F. Kennan, led by plane for consultations with other American officials already in the French capital. 16 nations are in conference there, appraising their own ability to help themselves get back on their feet and working on an estimate of how much American assistance will be needed. Beyond that, diplomatic authorities said they pushed a preliminary calculation past $29 million. Fighting to stave off national bankruptcy, Britain slashed the food ration of its weakened 50 million inhabitants last night with a grim master plan that also abolished the gasoline ration and foreign travel. and threatened hardships worse than those of the gravest war years. The weekly meat ration cut from 1 shilling 2 pence, about 23 cents, to 1 shilling, about 20 cents. In 1941, the ration dropped to 20 cents for a 4-month period, but it was all meat from carcasses. Now the slim allotment will be feathered with corned beef. Foreign travel and motoring, the only escape from the drab work and be patient routine, reduced again to the wartime level. The government's war on ballooning living costs produced criminal charges yesterday that the National Association of Real Estate Boards and the Washington Real Estate Board violated antitrust laws. Attorney General Clark announced that a federal grand jury had indicted the organization on grounds they conspired to fix commission rates for real estate dealers in the District of Columbia. The maximum penalty is a $5,000 fine against each. Russia warned bluntly last night that hot-headed attempts to tamper with the Big Five veto power could wreck the United Nations. Soviet Deputy Foreign Minister Andrei Gromyko delivered the warning in the UN Security Council as small nation delegates renewed their assault on the big power voting privileges, and the United States lashed out at Russia's frequent use of that privilege. A Philadelphia landlord accused of refusing to refund rent overcharges to 9 tenants, quoting, "until the moon turns green," end quote, committed to prison yesterday by federal Judge James P. McGranery for contempt of federal court. Trade unionism has broken out among coconut pickers in the Solomon Islands. 7,000 natives have gone on a sit-down strike for a 1,200% wage increase and a European diet. That, reports from the former South Sea Island Paradise said yesterday. Accounts reaching Suva in Fiji said the strikers have formed a sort of jungle trade union called the Marching Rule on the island of Maligata, 80 miles east of Guadalcanal, and are getting ready to present their demands to the British administration based at Guadalcanal. And in Boston, burglars who carted off a locked safe must have been surprised to find about its contents. A full set of burglar tools. And those some of the day's top news stories as reported in the newspapers of Thursday, August 28, 1947. On your radio, Mystery in the Air, starring Peter Lorre. The conclusion next on this Sunday Classic Radio Theater with Wyatt Cox on your favorite radio station. Well, on Monday's Classic Radio Theater with Wyatt Cox, an episode of Escape. This goes back to August 29th, 1948, 74 years ago. The Diamond as Big as the Ritz, the fascinating F. Scott Fitzgerald story about the home life of the richest family in the world. Sam Edwards and Peggy Webber star. And according to what I have seen, the novella by F. Scott Fitzgerald is set in Montana, a setting that may have been inspired by the summers that Fitzgerald spent near White Sulphur Springs, Montana. Yeah, I know, it's about 4 hours away from Kalispell, but about as close as we're going to get to you folks up there. The Diamond as Big as the Ritz, an episode of Escape, August 29, 1948, on Monday's Classic Radio Theater with Wyatt Cox. But now, the conclusion of Mystery in the Air, starring Peter Lorre. 75 years ago, August 28, 1947.
Reverend McKillop, aging, paralyzed, unable to speak, listens helplessly as Philip Gentry, criminal and murderer, explains why he killed Reverend Pierce and assumed Pierce's clothes and identity, and describes his first sermon.
And so, in conclusion, dear friends, remember the agony of our Lord was shared by 2 thieves, and they were crucified beside him that he might be numbered among the transgressors. And remember his words to one, "Verily I say unto thee, today shalt thou be with me in paradise." Now we will sing hymn 426, Just As I Am, without one plea. Yes, that was my first sermon, Reverend McKillop. Oh, I saw your eyes when Lucy told you how deeply moved the congregation was. Oh, you couldn't understand. You just couldn't how such a thing could be done without faith. Oh, but I've been a lawyer, and I've done a lot without faith. Yes, I've been the ideal parson you were looking for. I wish you could ask young Hubbard. You don't know he called on me, huh?
Reverend Pierce?
Yes?
I missed your first service, Reverend. I thought I ought to pay you a call. My name's Hubbard.
Oh, yes, I know. You're in the choir. Come on. Come in, Mr. Hubbard. Make yourself comfortable.
Oh, thank you.
What's your business, Mr. Hubbard?
I work at the bank. I'm chief teller.
Chief teller, huh? A very responsible job for a young man like you.
I suppose it is, but I don't have much more responsibility than the other tellers, except at the end of the month.
Oh.
Then it's a strain.
End of the month? Why?
Well, sure, that's when I have to...
Yes?
You know, I've never told anyone about this.
Please.
So even with you...
Well, if it's confidential...
Well, no, naturally, not so far as you're concerned, Reverend Pierce. You see, the 30th of the month, we move all our deposits to the Federal Reserve Bank.
Yes.
$200,000 or more. So you can see how I wouldn't want some people to know that.
You mean you have to take the deposits alone?
Oh, no. No, gosh, no. That'd be even worse than it is. No, there's an armored truck that comes to take the money.
Surely the bank takes adequate precautions.
Well, I have a gun, and there's an alarm system, but...
You see?
Well, the thing is, I'm all alone. Huh? Sometimes when I'm sitting there at my desk, I think how easy it would be.
Why?
Well, all somebody would have to do is shoot me through the glass door. Even if the alarm rang, it would be 10 minutes before the police got there.
Oh, Mr. Hubbard, after all, it's a very quiet community, no?
Well, I guess that's what the directors of the bank figure.
Only possible danger I can see would be from too many people knowing what you've told me. I mean, wrong people. And you say you don't talk, so...
Oh, no. No, Reverend Pierce. I've never told a soul except you.
See, that's faith, McKillop. I see I did a lot without faith, but not without faith in my own shining destiny. Imagine, out of all his communities, 35,000 people, Hubbard picked me to share his secret. He even told me the truck didn't come for the money until 9:30 at night. As soon as Hubbard had gone, I wrote a letter to Mac. You remember, I told Mac to wait for me in Chicago, and in that letter, I explained the setup, and I asked him to be at the bank at 9 p.m. on the 30th. Well, and in the meantime, I continued to play my saintly part. It was easy, warmed by adulation, warmed by love, yes, love, because even you could see what was happening to your daughter. Your own very beautiful daughter. Lucy, yes, she fell in love with me. And believe me, Lucy was a great help to me, blinded by what she called love. If I made a slip, she was there to help me cover up. And what did I feel? Love? With Lucy, as long as the word love served me, I used it. But last week, on Wednesday, when I came in the evening to read to you, I suddenly realized it could also be a source of great danger.
Oh, Howard, darling. You're all I've waited for all day.
Let me look at you, Lucy. Say you look so happy.
Howard, I've the most wonderful news. Guess.
How can I guess?
Well, I've never breathed a word to Father about us. You and me, you know, because you asked me not to. Not until he can talk to us and give us his blessing. No, not yet, I haven't, but the doctor was here today.
Yes?
And he told me Father will speak again soon, any day now.
Well.
Doctor doesn't know why he hasn't already. Oh, isn't that wonderful?
Yes, yes, it is.
Howard, what's the matter?
Nothing is the matter.
Well, there is, I can see.
Well, look, Lucy, I was going to tell you before. You see, I can't marry you. Not ever.
You can't?
Please, don't ask me why.
It's because you don't love me.
Believe me, Lucy, you just have to go on and live your life as if you'd never met me.
As if I'd never met you. You know what that means?
Whatever it means.
It means I'll marry Tom Hubbard and you'll perform the service.
Yes.
You'll be the one to make me Mrs. Tom Hubbard.
Mrs. who? Who did you say?
Tom Hubbard. I'll be a banker's wife.
What? Never knew his name before. Well, no matter what you think, Lucy, I'm sure you'll be happy. I have to go in and see your father now, Lucy, and try to be brave, will you? Good evening, Reverend McKillop. Oh, you poor, voiceless, brainless, harmless old Reverend McKillop. I hear you may be able to talk again, yes. I hear someday you're going to speak. Well, I have only 1 week to wait, that's all. 1 week, but you are a danger. Therefore, I ought to kill you, Reverend. I ought to kill you now. Oh, don't ask me why I didn't kill you, Reverend McKillop. I suppose it will always be distasteful to me. It's a job for cruder minds, and if it happens that my neat habits turn in a good deed now and then, that doesn't make me a Boy Scout, does it? I might not like to think of Lucy, only 2 days married, so soon to be a widow, so soon in half an hour, yes, because in half an hour, Mac is going to shoot Tom Hubbard as he sits at his desk. And in half an hour, I'll have $200,000 and I'll be free, you hear? Well, Reverend, now that you know the real Philip Gentry, do you understand? Do you? No, I doubt it. I doubt if you, with your good book and your years of tending the good sheep in the rich green pastures here, could ever understand 1/10 of what a man like me feels. Doesn't matter. I don't need your understanding. I don't. Good night, Reverend, and sleep well.
Who is it?
It's me, Reverend Pierce, Tom.
Oh,
let me in.
Reverend Pierce, just a minute. I wanted to make sure. You see, this is the night when the truck comes.
Yes, I remember. That's how I knew where to find you.
Oh. Well, did you want something?
Yes. Lucy's feeling sick. I came to send you home.
Lucy? But I can't. I have to stay.
I can stay for you.
Well, gee, I don't know. I'm supposed to stay until the truck gets here.
Lucy's calling for you, Tom.
She's really sick?
Yes.
Well, all right. I guess with you here, it'll be all right.
Just tell me what to do.
Well, that's the money right there, already in those sacks.
Yes. I sit here?
Yeah, right at this desk. Gee, I don't know what the directors will think.
Come on, run along, Tom. They'll never know. Even if someone walks by from the outside, they'll never know if it's you or me sitting here.
That got him right to the head. Gotta have the money ready.
Mac.
Hear him.
Mac.
Huh? Who's there?
Come here, Mac. Come here.
Gentry.
Yes, it's me.
But,
Mac.
But something screwy. You said in your letter that...
No. I didn't have a chance to tell you. The plans were changed.
Oh, Gentry. Honest, Gentry. I didn't mean to shoot...
I know. Look, you better go. I'm dying, man.
I ain't gonna leave you here, Gentry. What do you think?
Yes, you're going to leave me. They won't get me, Mac. I'm dying. You go on now. Only you won't be able to take the money. The plan is all changed.
Oh, okay. That doesn't matter, the money.
Remember me when thou comest into thy kingdom.
Hey, what are you talking about, Gentry?
It's from the Bible, Mac. You wouldn't know it. It's from the Bible. Yes. It was said by a thief.
This, dear friends, was the man Philip Gentry, or Reverend Pierce, or whatever other name he may choose in eternity. The man whom we bury today. That night when he stood above my bed, pouring defiance and bitterness into my ears, thinking I was paralyzed. I could both speak and write. My paralysis had been gone for many days. But I did not speak because I knew what Philip Gentry would do, what he had to do. I knew what he denied, that to accomplish work as he had in God's vineyard, a man must have faith, even though he deny that faith. That is why, in spite of all, he protected my daughter's happiness. That is why he could not kill me. For the work he did here had molded him in spite of himself into a man who is truly a servant of God. To such a man our Lord would say, "Verily I say unto you, today shalt thou be with me in paradise."
The artists supporting Mr. Lorre tonight were Henry Morgan as the voice of mystery, Peggy Weber as Lucy, John Brown as Reverend McKillop, Howard Culver as Mac, Jack Edwards Jr. as Hubbard, and Russell Thorson as Reverend Pierce. This is Michael Roy in Hollywood wishing you a pleasant good night.
A wonderful performance by Lorre in this episode of Mystery in the Air, August 28, 1947. Interestingly enough, Peggy Weber, the female lead in this show, will be the lead in tomorrow's Classic Radio Theater, where we present Escape, the Diamond as Big as the Ritz, from 74 years ago, August 29th, 1948. I hope you will enjoy that show. And we thank you for tuning in to this favorite radio station of yours. Hope you will thank this station, support their advertisers. It is their kindness and courtesy that allows us to be with you each and every time we roll around here on your favorite station. Now, if you miss a day, you do not have to miss a single show. All of our shows are available on demand by going to classicradio.stream. That's classicradio.stream. You can stream our shows on demand. We have a listing of podcast sites that we know have our shows available. You can download them from there. You can also learn about building a classic radio collection of your own. You also can buy me a coffee if you want. That's always nice. It helps us build our classic radio theater collection so we can bring you more great radio shows. You can also follow us on social media, and you can contact me directly. That webpage, classicradio.stream. Thank you so much for spending part of your Sunday with us. Tell all your friends the great radio shows are right here at this spot on the dial. Classic Radio Theater with Wyatt Cox on your favorite radio station.